U-GeekTV.
Welcome back to U-GeekTV. I am your host, Jarvis, the Unapologetic Geek. I am joined by Hoodie CM, also known as Chris Marshall, and my boy, the Gym Geek Gamer, Greg. And we are back for another installment of the Unapologetic Football Show, man. How y'all boys feeling tonight, man? We got some college football playoff rankings. They've come out. The NFL yet again had another crazy weekend. Like, what we feeling like?
It was feeling good, but I was enjoying that intro song, man. That was a bop.
One day I'm gonna have to play like a longer version of it. The whole cut. Also, shout out to Dunchy did it. The whole cut of that track is dope. And that intro, I used to have it on my old podcast, and I just decided to keep it, man. Just cut it a little bit. Yeah, but yeah, man, I've been rocking with that one for years. Anyways,
fire, man. We ready to get to it though, bro.
I appreciate it. All right, so yeah, let's get to it. Let's get to it. All right, so it's been a week. Like we hadn't done this in a week. I had some internet issues and all that kind of stuff. You got to take the glasses off to really get into it. But anyways, a lot of shit transpired. And we got to catch up a little bit, but we're going to move forward. And the biggest thing that we got to start off with, because we talked about college football extensively here, the first college football playoff rankings have come out, and they are something else. A better version of me would have had a visual to go along with the viewers, but I'm just going to read through them right quick and just get into what we have here. So, number 1 is Oregon. Number 2 is Georgia. 3 is Miami. And 4 is BYU. And to round it out, we have Indiana is in 9th place. Tennessee is in 8th. Boise State is 12th. Ohio State is 5th. Notre Dame is 10th. Penn State is 7th. Alabama is 11th. And Texas is 6th. And man, that first of all, SEC domination continuing. You know that this is what we do. But it's going to be some interesting matchups, especially if this holds, which it definitely won't. With that being said, Chris, I'm going to start with you, man. How do you feel about the initial rankings?
I mean, I feel like they are exactly where they need to be right now. I mean, that's pretty much the top 12 teams in the nation. You can't argue with it. The only thing that I thought was questionable was Boise State, and not the fact that they in there, but I thought the group of 5 champion was supposed to be in there. Unless I think Army might still be independent, but I thought Army joined the Conference USA, the Sun Belt or whatever. So
I thought Army did join. Yeah, Army did join
exactly.
Yeah, a conference. Yeah, that's true.
So it is odd. I don't know if it goes by ranking or record, because if you go by ranking, obviously Boise State is 12th. Army is 23rd, I think. But Army is 8-0.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going by ranking. Yeah, my guess is that it's going to go by ranking. And then, of course, they have a Heisman hopeful. So, of course, you want to get them in
right
in the early going. But we'll see how that goes. Greg, what are your thoughts on it?
Man, as long as the Bama boys are now good. Honestly, I'm looking at it, and I think this is going to be a real interesting turnout. Like you said, it's going to be shook up. I don't think this will be like the final.
Oh yeah, it won't be remotely close.
People gonna lose.
Yeah, this ain't gonna be the final 12. Like, we still got LSU we got to play, which is a big game this coming weekend. So I'm hopeful for like the way they are now, but I don't think we're looking at the same 12 team that's gonna finish it out, bro.
Yeah, I agree. I also agree with Ohio State, their ranking, and Penn State's ranking, especially with the game that we just had this past weekend. I think, I hate to give Ohio State any credit, but I think they're appropriately where they should be. But this kind of opens up an avenue to talk about some other teams. South Carolina got Texas A&M up out of there, so they're going to be clawing to try and get back into the playoff because I feel like they would have definitely secured a spot had they not taken their loss to South Carolina, which was a dog walking session, to be honest. Another interesting one is Louisville took down Clemson. That was a big one. Came virtually out of nowhere, and conference play is tough. Conference play is as tough as division play is in the NFL. And it kind of made me think, man, is Dabo cooked? Is Dabo about to get up out of here? He refuses to participate in the transfer portal. He refuses to participate in NILs. He's one of only 3 teams that don't participate in the transfer portal. The other 2, you got to be in the fucking Army or the Navy to even get on those teams. What are we doing here, man? Like, I'm after looking at that, Dabo is trying to coach in the archaic way, and I think he about to be on his way out. Greg, even though you're taking a swig or something right now, my bad, bro. What do you think about Dabo's prospects of staying?
I think, man, like you said, it's archaic. His mindset is archaic. So you're trying to hold that old school mindset of recruiting, and you got to adapt with the times. Like the NIL deals, man, they reign supreme right now. And if you ain't trying to bring that money to a player that's playing for you, I hate to say it, like you bringing down the value of your team. I think that's a lot to think about when it comes to his coaching career. Like I think in a big sense, I want to say that's why Nick Saban got out of it. Like he didn't want to deal with the transfer portal, the NIL deals. I think he kind of saw it as a means like that's going to bring down the talent of the actual team itself. And because he's not trying to adapt to that level, I think he's out of there, bro. Like hands down. I think this is going to be a downfall of a notable coach. And I mean, that happens. But at the same time, I mean, that brings in, somebody else that could probably, I ain't gonna say do better than him, but, open up the talent as far as coaching. But this is, to me, I feel like a step back mindset. Like I get it, you want to keep to your old school roots, but bro, you got to keep up with the times. Like, I mean, ain't no way you're gonna sit up here and grab talent if you're not even trying to utilize like the resources in front of you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got a 5-star receiver and quarterback sitting in the portal, but you choosing to, take the old school route. Like, you missing out, bro.
Yeah, and it's the rule of evolution. You either evolve or you die. And Clemson looks like they're about to be left behind. I absolutely can see, especially if he's not going to win a championship or anything like that, I absolutely can see him being on his way out. Chris, what are your thoughts on it?
Cade Klubnik is mid, bro. As long as he's the quarterback, I don't care who Dabo get in the portal. They ain't winning shit, man. I've been saying it for years. Cade Klubnik is – I don't get what the hype was. I mean, he was a 5-star coming out of Texas. I know he led a good program down there. I think he was at Westlake, and they just ran through people, right? But, nah, bro, this ain't Texas high school football, man. But, again, like Greg said, man, he's stuck in his ways, man. And it's hard to compete nowadays. And I think where Dabo messed up with, and granted, right, Nick Saban had coordinator on top of coordinator who all them jokers are head coaches now. Cool. But he messed up when he let Brent Venables go. Clemson has always had a decent offense, right? It goes with their quarterback. Deshaun Watson, electric. That little shift in between there with Kelly Bryant, it was kind of mid. And then you got the Trevor Lawrence, it was electric again. But the one thing Clemson always had in that little spurt was defense. And that was because of Brent Venables. And now that Venables is up out of there coaching Oklahoma, Clemson doesn't have a defense anymore. And that was what they prided themselves on. I mean, we all remember that year where, 3 of their 4 D linemen went in the first round. You don't get that no more out of Clemson. So, I mean, like you said, you want to get these transfer portal kids who are already proven, already played college ball, already shown that they can handle the big stage, and you decline that for an 18-year-old who may be talented but may not necessarily be ready. So like you said, it's just a changing of the guard, man. Dabo's got to get up out of there soon. So I don't think there's no graceful way for that to happen. But Clemson's going to have a bad year, and they're going to have to force him up out of there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. The last two things I had, though, look, I'm all for the U, but I'll admit we looked a little questionable against Duke. I was worried about the Duke game, and Cam Ward, he pulled it together, and we were able to pull it out. And then on the other side, Georgia was struggling for a while, and then they got their shit together and they pulled it out. Are either Miami and Georgia, are they viable contenders in your eyes? Chris, I'll start with you.
I'm gonna say yes to both. Start with Miami first. I mean, that offense, like you said, Cam Ward is the highest scoring offense in the nation for a reason, right? They can score on anybody, I believe. The problem with them, defense, secondary play. You know, you got a lot of young guys, a lot of guys rotating, injuries and whatnot. Front seven is solid, but can they hold up when you got 5 O linemen from somebody like UGA who are 320 plus leaning on you all game? Like that shit is hard. So I think that's Miami's problem is the defense. So I think it's going to be exciting. You know, I got them winning the ACC, getting to the playoffs. So that's going to be exciting for them. Georgia is the complete opposite. It's offense because I don't want to overuse the word mid, but Carson Beck is mid to me, bro. Like I said it last year. Everybody was, Carson Beck, he threw for 4,900 yards in the SEC last year. I was like, yeah, because he had Lad McConkey and Brock Bowers, bro. Like, chill out. He's okay, but he's got 6 picks in the last 2 games, 3 apiece. So that's all you need to say there. But I do give Georgia a shot because, once again, like I said, I can't remember if it was last episode or the first episode, Kirby Smart is probably the best motivator we've seen since prime Nick Saban in this generation of college football.
Absolutely.
And I believe Kirby's going to have these guys ready to run through a wall. Shit, I heard a speech yesterday, and I was ready to put back my pads back on. So,
Kirby's
going to get them boys ready to play, man, for sure.
I love how, especially when like a game is getting out of hand or anything like that, I love how he gets them to just calm down and kind of lock you in again.
Mm-hmm.
I love that about Kirby Smart. Greg, same question for you. Are Miami and Georgia legit?
You know I'm gonna go against Georgia, but I'm gonna be a realist. I'm with Chris on this. It's yes to both, but they definitely Georgia definitely has to step up on offense, hands down. That, like you said, the 6 picks are just inexcusable. And in the playoff system, bro, you have no time, no room for errors at all. So they definitely have to find their rhythm. I mean, Carson Beck still okay, but not the hype he used to be. But at the same time, it's kind of like, can we see a different Carson Beck in the playoffs? I mean, we don't know. Like, we'll see when we get there. Like, but it's definitely gonna have to be a mindset shift. I think with all the teams, not just them, it's gonna have to be a mindset shift. But I give them both yes. It's gonna be an interesting playoff system again. But with them two, I'm not gonna count them out because crazier things have happened in football, but crazier things has happened in football. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, expect the unexpected. And with these two teams being the high caliber they are, with the history they have, as far as like being one of those like, dog eat dog type teams, man, I believe once they get into the playoff systems, once they get into the playoffs, I think we'll probably see a different team. And I could be totally wrong. They could just be giving us a show and then get to the, the finals and just basically like bomb out. But I ain't gonna count them out. No, I'm not counting them out. I give them both. Yeah, I think they're viable.
Okay. All right, man. Look, we'll be back and we'll be talking about this several times all the way up until the national championship. But yeah, I'm really excited about this 12-team playoff. I know I've communicated this before, but it's just something about having that kind of March Madness kind of look and feel to it that it really kind of, it's something fresh. And having a tournament style like that with college football, that's amazing. I'm ready to see how it turns out. So let's shift gears to not only the NFL, but to a little bit more of a depressing situation. The Cowboys look like dog shit right now. I'm keeping it completely, brutally honest. That was a truly pathetic showing against the Falcons. By the way, the Falcons got some kind of new swag. Well, no, it's not the Falcons. It's Kirk Cousins. Who is it? Kirk Cousins out here wearing skull caps and chains and shit to the damn podium. He don't look like a youth pastor no more. He look like he on the block. I don't know what's going on with Kirk, man. Kirk, man, he just slinging the ball. He just all over the field, man. He looked like he rewinded the clock a little bit. But the Falcons are atop the AFC South. Not the AFC South, the NFC. Yeah, the NFC South. And the Cowboys just look like they're waiting to draft somebody. And the funny thing about that is, let's say they tank it and they just are completely terrible or whatever. What are you gonna do? You gonna trade Dak to try and get Shador? Is that what your plan is? Because you just paid Dak all that money, and ain't nobody else gonna want to pay Dak that. You just paid CD Lamb. I think the only piece that you can actually trade, the only pieces are DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons. And he doesn't want to depart with either of them. You're not going to fire your coach. You're just going to wait for his contract to run out. The Cowboys are a damn mess all the way around. I know this brings Greg great joy. So I'm going to kick it to him first, man. Is it time for the Cowboys to just blow this whole thing up?
Boy, it's been time for them to hang it up for a long time. And I'm so glad to see them the way they are now, man. It just makes my heart pump better blood. But after I saw how Dak went down in the last game, I was praying for CeeDee Lamb. I prayed for him. I was like, buddy, just out there trying to do the best he can. And there's only so much you could do with one receiver like that. But after I saw Dak go down, I was like, all right, please just let this dynasty fall for them. Let them understand that they trash, that there is no more. Albeit that the Patriots are not doing the greatest, but at the same time, Cowboy fans boil my blood. I cannot stand Cowboy fans. Just the way they hold on to this. Oh, we still finna hit the Super Bowl. Like, we finna make all these rings. No, y'all not. It's done. It's a wrap. Y'all proving that y'all are the bottom of the barrel. It's time to let that go. And I honestly don't, even if they were to go the route you said and they trade and get Shador, it's still going to take them a couple more years to get back to that old style Cowboys from the 2000s. They still not going to have that. But at the same time, I mean, I'm happy their downfall. So yeah, it's time to blow the Cowboys up. I could even set the timer on it if you want to. I'll buy the watch to set the timer on it, bro. It's time to wrap it up. They out of here, bro.
I saw somebody throw out Dion possibly being the Cowboys coach, and I'm like, hell no, that is definitely not the answer.
Get out of there.
You cannot put Dion as the coach of the Cowboys. I don't give a fuck if him and Shador. Well, yeah, they have been together since the beginning of Shador's life, but still, man, like that don't make no goddamn sense. That don't make no sense, and he doesn't want to coach. Like, he doesn't want to coach men. This whole thing is the further or the closer we get to the end of the season, the more I'm absolutely buying into Dion quitting coaching forever after Shador and Travis make it to the pros. Like, couple episodes ago, I didn't think that was gonna happen, and now I'm fully buying in to and subscribing to that. But yeah, same thing for you, Chris. Like, is it time to kill this situation and just go into the rebuilding phase?
Hey, both of y'all hit the nail on the head. Greg exclusively though. Mm-hmm. It's been time to blow up this Cowboy organization since he fired Jimmy Johnson. Yo, you ain't had no success since then, you know what I'm saying? Because you fired the only coach with the balls to stand up to Jerry. Ever since Jimmy Johnson was out the door, every coach since then has followed along and been Jerry Jones' little puppet. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly why they ain't gonna win nothing, because he has too much control. You not a coach, bro. You got to let this shit go. Let your coach do his job. And now the team, now the team, bro, you have no running game. You have no threats outside of CeeDee Lamb because Brandon Cooks is on IR. Like, you have nothing. Like this, and now, like you said, Dak is out. Like, hey, Cooper Rush was slaying that thing, though. Cooper Rush came in there. He had nothing to lose. He was letting it rip.
And that's what Cooper Rush is gonna do. My thing is this: he's not a viable future quarterback neither. The running game part is crazy. Not signing Derrick Henry and giving all that money to Dak is insane. And for the first time in years, they running game is ass. And then you got Ezekiel Elliott, who was always late to practice and film study and all that kind of stuff. Now you got to punish him because that was cool when we were winning, but now we suck and you just can't keep doing it. And so it's so much turmoil and all that kind of stuff. And you giving up Derrick Henry in favor of Ezekiel Elliott and running that back. That's honestly
Dalvin Cook too.
That's a cocaine thought process, man. Like, somebody is on this shit doing it, and that somebody is absolutely Jerry Jones. Speaking of Derrick Henry, and this is a perfect transition, bruh. As much as he's been stomping out everybody that they go against when they give him the ball like they supposed to, he's not even the best player on the Ravens. He may be the most important. And I wouldn't even say by a significant margin if he is. I mean, that running game is really important. But first of all, Lamar Jackson is the most electrifying man in NFL, period. But his numbers and the shit that he is doing, man, I believe he now holds the record for the most perfect passer rating games, if I'm not mistaken, with 4. Peyton Manning has 3, and I think Tom Brady also has 3 or something like that. And this man, like Lamar Jackson, has many years ahead of him, and he's already done it 4 times. Is he with Pat Mahomes struggling, and other players not really having the same consistency? Is Lamar Jackson the MVP yet again? I'll start with you, Chris.
Hey, he taking that shit and he running to the moon with it, bro. Yeah, like you said, L Boogie has 4 perfect games and 86 career games. Kurt Warner was kind of impressive. I think he did 3 in like 116, but Brady has like 335 and Peyton has like 360 something to get those 3 games. He's done 4 in 86. Enough said, bro. He's 3rd in the league right now in passing yards. He's 3rd in passing touchdowns while rushing for 500 yards already. Like, I don't think we've had crazy. Yeah, we haven't had this kind of blowout. And I know I think he won like unanimous MVP for like his 2nd run. I don't even think anybody else deserves a vote this year, if we're being honest. I mean, maybe Jared Goff for how he's managing the game, but nobody else, like you said, Mahomes is struggling. He's undefeated, but he's not being Mahomes, you know. So, L Boogie is at this point, he could probably sit the rest of the season. He'll still win this shit, bro.
His stats are amazing. The only player that I could see that could just get on the ballot, I don't think they'll win or really be a threat. Jaden Daniels, what he's doing, right, and with the Commanders, that's some MVP shit to me that he's doing now. I don't think he's just about a lock for Rookie of the Year. But he just needs to stay healthy and see it all the way through. Greg, what are your thoughts on Lamar being the MVP? Is he the unanimous MVP or even just the MVP in your eyes?
I think it's unanimous, but another thing you said, he has to stay healthy. I think adding Derrick Henry was a big plus. I know we discussed that before, and I said it a while back when they were thinking about it, that was going to be a pivotal point, a pivotal move that they made, and it has shown through and through. But yeah, I definitely think that the MVP, Lamar got that locked, bro. Like, I mean, I think it's just he'll probably walk into the room and they don't even have to say nothing. Like, yeah, bro, you got it. Be like me say walking into a recruit, just throw it at him. Because I mean, dude out here with a cape on, like Superman, basically just running through it. Like you said, his stats, just hearing his stats is on next level. I think they counted him out. I think a lot of people counted the Ravens out. They had their chance. It was a wrap. But I think he had a point to prove. He said, well, you know what? Guess what? I got an army and a tank behind me now. Let me show y'all what we can do. And when you got that type of threat behind you and you can move, man, bro been out here just making just everybody jaw drop. Like every time I watch a Ravens game, I'm just like, I don't even know who Patrick Mahomes is right now, bro. Because just watching the man play, it's like, are people still talking about him? Do he still have his State Farm deal? Like, what's going on? Like,
so hold on. I'm gonna go to the other side of it in just a minute. I do want to say this. As long as they don't deviate from giving Derrick Henry the ball, the Ravens can beat just about anybody on any given day. They have to continue to give him the ball, though. You can't decide in the AFC Championship that you're going to try and get Lamar Jackson to throw for 500 yards against the toughest defense in the NFL. You can't do shit like that. All they got to do is keep running the ball, lead with the run, follow with the pass. With that being said, I mentioned this before, and I just want to bring up some stuff about Derrick Henry. You really can make the case for Derrick Henry also being the MVP. He is unstoppable, period. And again, that team flows with how he runs. I've heard some Derrick Henry stats that were crazy, but the craziest one to me was in that season where he got injured. He had 900 yards before he still ended up getting 900 yards. He got injured, missed time, and he still ended up getting 900 yards, man. I thought maybe he was on his way out. That's why I kind of counted the Ravens out before the season even started. But now I realize the Titans was just ass. That's what it came down to. The Titans were just ass. Because this man, see, he got plenty of time left, and he's on that Tom Brady diet. Like, Derrick got a lot left in the tank, man. He got a lot left in the tank. But you mentioned Pat Mahomes, and, being a Chargers fan, I respect greatness. But also, at the same time, I kind of got to hate him, And with that being said, yeah, he's not in the MVP race right now. But my God, that Monday night game, man, there's an inevitability when it comes to the Chiefs. I was looking at the game. I saw Tampa Bay going back and forth. And I saw it is something about when Mahomes has an injury scare, he turns into another person when he recovers. Every single time. We saw it in that Super Bowl. I believe it was a Super Bowl against Philadelphia. We saw it. Then he took a hit, I believe, in the Super Bowl against the 49ers last year. And he came back and turned into Superman. All right. As I'm watching this game, and I'm just going to take you through it. I'm looking and I'm like, okay, the Chiefs, it looks like the Buccaneers have their number. It really does. Baker Mayfield's going up and down the field at this point. It was that first methodical drive that put them up, I believe, 17-10, if I'm remembering correctly. After that drive was over and they scored, it just felt inevitable. Then the Buccaneers come back. They get a score, but they took a timeout that they shouldn't have taken, by the way. They got right down to the goal line. Took a timeout they shouldn't have taken. You leave 30 seconds on the clock. 30 seconds for Mahomes is an eternity for everybody else, but they were unable to convert. The worst thing that can happen is that the Chiefs got the ball at the beginning of overtime. And at that point, when you look, if you go back and look at it, when Baker Mayfield realized they lost the toss, he hung his head. He knew it was over.
Disgusting.
He knew it was over. He hung his head. They drove down that field for 7+ minutes, bro. 7+ minutes. And here's the thing: you never thought that they weren't about to score a touchdown. That's the scariest part about it. And I said, where did I see this before? I just saw it in the last Super Bowl. When they got the ball back against the 49ers, I looked over at my daughter and I said, she's about to walk off. It's over.
This game.
It's over. They're about to walk off. And those drives, those methodical drives, man, and the way they just go down the field. Look, I don't care how Pat Mahomes is looking in quarters 1 through 3. I don't even care up until 5 minutes into the fourth quarter how he looking. It's them last goddamn 10 minutes that you got to worry about. The last 10, the boy invincible. Greg, with that being said, man, are we dismissing the Chiefs as the best team in the NFL a little bit too early? I mean, a championship pedigree accounts for something. What do you think?
It does. I won't dismiss them, but I mean, we just talked about Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Like I ain't dismissing them as the best team, but I'm definitely not as confident that they're gonna take a Super Bowl this year. I will say that. But the best, Patrick Mahomes is, a cannon. Like that's a cheat code all day. But I wouldn't give them the best. I'm still sticking with right now, and this is gonna sound crazy, but I still think the Lions are the best team.
It don't sound crazy right now. It don't sound crazy.
Yeah, so the Lions are the best team in the NFL right now, and that's wild to say. But you know what I'm about to bring up about the Lions, that they just stumped Dallas into a new tombstone burial site. I mean, they didn't even have an open casket for what they did to them. What was it, 47-9? Look,
it was terrible.
I am afraid of this Lions team. I'm going to put that out there. I am terrified of them right now. Like they are playing like they just basing uncovered, like the gauntlet glove from Thanos. It got all the stones. And they said, okay, basically y'all counted us out. Let me snap my fingers and show y'all. And they basically just dismissing everybody out. So I can't say the Chiefs are the best team right now. I think the Lions are. But I'm not going to disqualify them from like championship contention. But I don't think they ain't taking this. He ain't getting that 3-peat.
So I'm with you on the Lions. What I like about the Lions, and this isn't even a Lions segment, but we're going to show them some love. The Lions are playing like they pissed off. They're playing like they felt like they squandered an opportunity last year, and I agree with that. They squandered an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl doing this. And Dan Campbell was just making rookie coach mistakes. And it's one of those situations where the moment probably was a little bit too big and he overthought himself. That's not happening this year. They are out to crush people. What they did in the same rainy conditions that Green Bay was going through, what they did to Green Bay, that defense, man, like it's something to behold, bro. And so I want to see where you're gonna go with this, Chris. I got a feeling I know where you're going with this. But how do you feel about the Chiefs being the best team in the NFL? And if it's not them, then who?
Hey, 3 cheers for the Lions, bro. You knew where I was going with it, dog.
Yeah.
The Lions are the best team, but understandably, Mahomes is still the best player in the league. I know El Boogie is about to be a unanimous MVP more than likely. Mahomes is still the scariest player in the league, bro, because like nothing is safe with him. But yeah, I think they have too many injuries to try to bounce back from to even be considered the best the best team, because offensively and defensively they're missing key pieces. So as much as Mahomes is Superman, bro, even Superman need the Justice League sometime. So
true enough.
I think the Lions are hands down, top to bottom, the most complete roster in the NFL right now, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm not ashamed.
What it's going to come down to, if let's say we get to the Ravens and the Chiefs and the Lions and the Chiefs, it's up here. Mentally, what are you going to do? Right. You cannot make mistakes. That's the issue. You have to have it in your head. We got to play mistake-free football to get over and get past the Chiefs. Buffalo had to do it, they could. The fucking kicker
Right.
missed the last second kick because he froze up. The Ravens had a brain lapse last year. Kyle Shanahan just may as well quit when he see him coming. At this point. He just may as well quit. Like, he can't beat Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes. Seriously, he can't beat him. We saw Andy Reid and their team they out moxie the Philadelphia Eagles with Jalen Hurts. Like, we've seen it time and time again, man. If you don't have it up here, you ain't gonna beat them. You ain't gonna beat them. And that's why the Bengals where they at. That's exactly why the Bengals where they at. They mentally, they just can't do it. They can't get it together. Speaking of mental fortitude, so a thing happened with the Colts last week. We didn't get a chance to talk about it. It was very interesting. Their quarterback, Anthony Richardson, he had some interesting things to say. He tapped his helmet, came out of the game, went on the sidelines, then he came back in to play later. And then the reporter asked about it. And instead of this young man lying and saying, "Hey, man, I felt my hamstring pull a little bit. I wanted to get it checked out. I tweaked my ankle," anything but what he actually said, he went with, "I'm tired. I was tired. I had just ran the play before and I needed to come off. And I tapped my helmet and I went and sat down." I wanted to keep in mind that in the offseason, this young man also said the NFL was easier than college. And he turned around and did some shit like that. When they asked the coach if he was committed to Anthony Richardson moving forward, and he looked in the face and said, "We'll figure out our quarterback situation," Joe Flacco was over there sitting on the bench. I knew what time it was. I feel like the team has lost respect for Anthony Richardson, and you're not gonna really hear about that side of it. I don't know where the young man goes from here. I don't know how much longer he's gonna be a Colt. And I know he played in the game a little bit, but look, you're our Colt guy. You're our Colt fan here. Chris, what did you think about that?
Man, I got to put the hood on for that one, dog.
Oh shit! Here we go.
All right. Let me compose myself, man. As a former player of the game, man, that was the worst thing you could have done as the leader of the football team. I don't care if you're not a vocal leader. You got to do one or the other, bro. You got to either be a vocal leader as a quarterback or you have to lead by example. You the only person on Madden who don't get a sub when your shit is blinking red. You have to stay in that game, bro. I don't care. I've seen Byron Leftwich at Marshall University get carried to the huddle with a broken leg with his old lineman. You tired, bro? That I know he doesn't even have a full season's worth of sample size of 16 games under his belt. As a Colt fan, bro, I'm low key already ready to move on, dog. Like, and I just saw something earlier today that said that, Shane Steichen said he's on like the untouchable list. Like, we're not going to trade him. And I understand that, right? You drafted him 4th last year. You can't get rid of that right now, or you might be out the door. But, bro, like that was probably the worst thing I've ever heard a football player say, period. Like, your line now might start blocking a little less. Your receivers might start running routes a little less hard. Yeah. Your running backs might not hit the hole as hard no more because they know that when it's time to go to war, you're not going to be with them. And like you said, Jay, you could have said anything, bro. Like, I had an equipment malfunction. Like you said, my hammy felt tight, something. But I'm tired, bro. You 22 years old, dog.
That's the other crazy part. You 22.
I know you just came off of a hip injury, bro. You could have been doing cardio with that hip injury. You could have been in the pool. You could have been on the bike. Anything, bro. Like, as a former player, dog, I don't know if I can look you in the eye as a man no more, dog. after you tapped out on us on third down in what was essentially a game for the division lead against the Texans. The winner of this game is in first place in the AFC South. And I'm tired. Let's move on.
Pack him up. Pack him up. I'm about to make you even madder. I'm gonna make you even madder. You know who wouldn't have done that? I'm not even gonna go with the obvious answer. Andrew Luck wouldn't have done that.
Andrew Luck ass would have been.
Andrew Luck would have died on the field before he said some shit like that. He would have damn near died on the field, man. I ain't even got to bring up what Peyton would have done.
Stop it, man. There's nothing else left to say, bro.
I always feel bad for Colts fans because seriously, you all got the team together that would have gotten at least one ring, that at least would have been able to go toe-to-toe with the Chiefs if Andrew Luck was there. Y'all put the team
after
together.
He retired.
Y'all put the team together, man. And it's crazy, and which tells me how close you all were in the first place to putting that team together. Like, you all built the team that he needed to keep him healthy, and he just couldn't do it anymore. He couldn't do it anymore. Greg, what were your thoughts on Anthony Richardson just saying, you know what, fuck it?
Man, Hoodie took it, you know, he put a rest in peace on it, but you want to be a meme in life, but you never want to be that type of meme. And I don't think he understood what was coming out of his mouth. I don't know who his PR manager is or
they need to be fired, bro.
Fired ASAP. They need to go ahead and either retire or find a new gig. Like, I think his mindset was just like, if I just tell the truth and say I'm tired, people will understand. Do you not know how dog thirsty these fans are? They don't care that you tired. If I pay $40 for a nosebleed seat, I want to squint and make sure I can see you run on that field. To say you tired just shows a lack of
maturity,
heart,
and you just don't have no dog in you, man. What you doing out here? You got a guarantee that you just play. You just sit. It feels like he puts on his pads just so people can see him in his pads. He's that JV team. He's that JV player that comes out. You know how you used to.
We all know that dude.
We all run out on the field, and you bust through the little sign. He's that dude that just, you know, he on the sideline hype. But been 3 years on the bench. He just had.
He up there playing with his gloves, trying to do all this kind of stuff before he go out there. I know what you're talking about.
And it's like, dog, you in the NFL, ain't nobody holding your hand, buddy. Like, you got players out there probably got tons of injuries we'll never, know about. But just to say you tired, dog, they did the right thing to bring Joe in. And moving forward, I believe, I think they said that, this wasn't a temporary decision, that Joe gonna be their starter. And I think he needs that, because you need some type of hard hit to the face to let you know, cool, you on the team, but I'll show you what the team can do without you, bro. Like, if that's how you gonna play it, when you tired, they up. They out here trying to basically make a name for us, and you on the sideline drinking your Gatorade with a straw. Sit there, homie. Enjoy your juice box.
Straw, god damn, not with a straw.
With a straw, bro. Shit. With clean cleats.
Sippy cup, man.
Y'all took it another level. The thing about Joe Flacco is Joe Flacco don't give a fuck. This is the best version of Joe Flacco, because he's gonna throw the ball downfield and
slanging
it's whatever. It's whatever. Here's another thing about Anthony Richardson. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the stat is he had like the lowest, and we talked about the perfect QB rating earlier. He had the lowest ever in 20 years or something like that. He had one of the lowest QB ratings during the last game where he tapped out. He had one of the lowest QB ratings of all time. And that's crazy. And look, he's a project, right? He's a project. You really have to work with him because he didn't really have all that experience in college. And is the juice worth the squeeze in that regard? Look, we talked about it before. His raw talent, if you can harness it, he gonna be all right. But the thing is, man, now it's a question of heart and maturity. And those are two things that are hard to come back from. We've seen Baker Mayfield's maturity question, but we never questioned his heart, and he's back and he's a leader of men again, like he's supposed to be. I don't know of many quarterbacks whose heart was questioned that could bounce back off it, because Jamarcus Russell's discipline and heart was questioned, and he never really played on the field like that. So it's one thing for your talent and your maturity to be questioned, but your heart, nah, man, that's a death nail in the NFL. It's over with. It's over with. Speaking of death nails, let me tell y'all, I don't know if I've ever shared this. My favorite player, like the most entertaining player in the NFL, who is unintentionally entertaining, is Jameis Winston. I love to see Jameis Winston walk on the field because one thing is guaranteed to happen, but two things could possibly happen, right? The one thing that's guaranteed is he's gonna say something that's gonna make me laugh. He's gonna do something hilarious off the field in the post-game interview or the pre-game interview, or just a video in the huddle when he's talking to everybody else. He's gonna do something funny. The other thing that could possibly happen, he usually does something funny on the field too. Like he'll throw it in. I saw James Winston throw an interception one time. I swear to God, I laughed so hard because it looks like he looked at the numbers on the opposition's jersey and threw right between them. The boy is hilarious. So he is taking over for Deshaun Watson, who we've talked about in past episodes, and that whole situation is over. They got dog walked by my Chargers, and rightfully so. And that team is just in complete disarray. I asked this question earlier for the Cowboys in terms of blowing it up. Do the Browns have an avenue to tank? And this is a complex question when you take into account Deshaun Watson's contract. Greg, I'll start with you. What should the Browns do? Should they do what they've done in the past and just absolutely tank this shit and see what they can do in the draft? Or do they keep fighting him? What do they do?
Man, that's tough. I ain't gonna lie to you, because you take that chance and tank to see what's in the draft. And what happens if you just start the cycle back over again? I think you need
they've done.
Yeah, I think it's time to change. I think it's definitely time to change. I don't think they should tank. I think they should keep fighting, because you definitely need to show that you can still put it up when it's needed. Now, if they still tank doing that, that's a different subject. But show the heart that you still out here fighting for it. Like, we don't need to see the typical Browns that are never brought up in anything. I don't even think the Browns even get thought up on Madden. But we need to see them at least fight for the season. Like, come on, man, show us that y'all are really trying. Because honestly, we be thinking when the Browns name come up, sometimes I'll be thinking, man, it's just a preseason game. We be deep 16 games into the season. But
goddamn,
I'll be really trying to get them some hope. But year in and year out, they kind of just do the same thing. But I don't think they should tank. Like you said, I think they definitely have some adjustments that need to happen with Deshaun Watson. That whole situation. I mean, you got the social side of it, but you also have the on-field. Jameis Winston, we don't know how that's going to turn out. You got to keep him away from the crab legs, but at the same time, it's kind of like, it's kind of like, man, I kind of don't want to see the Browns be the Browns, man. Or if they're going to be the Browns, be a different shade. You know what I'm saying? Be different than what you've been in the past, man. But nah, man, I don't think they should tank. I think they should go out fighting. Like, they keep some, give yourself some type of pat on the back and say, you know what, we still got stumped in the dirt, but at least we came out and still tried. We gave it our all instead of just letting the season fly. Like, I don't see them continuing trying to go to this draft and find something. Like, just stop, just cut it out. Like pineapples, bro, pineapples. Like, it's time to cut that out.
First of all, I want to say shout out to Jameis Winston, who said that we play for the emblem on the helmet for a team that doesn't have an emblem on their helmet. I just want to The man is hilarious, man. The man is hilarious, and him playing for the Browns is even funnier. And I want them, but I do want them to fight. We just talked about heart. James got a ton of heart, man, and I've always respected that about him, even though he goofy as hell. I love it. And now we've seen past iterations of James. We saw crab leg James. We saw the James that probably should be talking to your kids about their future, where he told the girls to be silent and all that kind of stuff. That was alarming. We saw blind ass James, who still has one of the greatest statistical seasons I've ever seen, with 5,000 plus yards and 30 plus touchdowns and 30 interceptions. That is the greatest.
30 for 30.
Look, man, I talked about this in the prior episode. I gotta bring it up again. If Jameis cuts down 15 interceptions in that season, Tom Brady never goes to Tampa Bay, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the Super Bowl that year. 15 less interceptions, and that's what he does. We talking about a Super Bowl champion. This man had surgery, went to New Orleans, and was still doing bullshit. Called the damn play when this was when they were getting ready to run up the score or something like that. I can't remember what the circumstances were in New Orleans. He tried to run up
supposed to be a knee, and he ran a running play. Yeah,
the boy went wrong. The boy went wrong and went up there. I take all the responsibility for it, boss. I took it. I take it on the chin. I'm sorry. I played. And he just undermined his coach, who is now fired, by the way. And then we get to preaching ass Jameis, who may be my favorite. He started preaching when Deshaun went down, and then they beat the Browns. He gave us a sermon then. He shut the fuck up this week, but preaching ass Jameis is my favorite one. So I just want to just say, I hope the Browns continue to participate in football this year. And if not them, Jameis Winston. Chris, I'm sorry I took a little bit of time there, but what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on what the Browns should do?
Hang it up, Cleveland. Hang it up, dog. Nah, I agree, man. I love to see him keep fighting, bro. You don't never want to see a grown man lay down for nobody, man. That shit gets hard to watch. So I think they might start going along the same line as the Saints, though. I think they probably gonna start moving some pieces, seeing what they can get for some people. They're obviously not moving Myles Garrett, but Denzel Ward, you could get some stuff for him if you want to move him. You got some decent corners behind him. Offensively, you can't afford to move nobody. So keep that offense the way it is, right? Y'all just got in Jerry Jeudy this year from Denver. Y'all haven't really done much with him. He's been in and out the lineup. So just fight, man, because like you said, you on the hook for that Deshaun Watson contract for at least 3 more years, unless you just want to cut your losses, and then you owe this man X amount of money. But I don't even know where they do go in the draft. So don't worry about that, man.
What do you do? Yeah. A bad quarterback situation can set you back, but a bad quarterback situation where you're guaranteeing hundreds of millions of dollars, your franchise could potentially not recover for up to 5 years. And this is a franchise that ain't won shit anyway. That's horrible. That's horrible, man.
You just gotta fire the owner, man.
You gotta fire. You gotta make them sell the team. You gotta make them.
Gotta let them go, bro.
Hey, man, y'all just see y'all way out. But yeah, it's such a fascinating set of circumstances in Cleveland. And speaking of fascinating circumstances and situations, that leads us to our last topics. I've been trying to figure this shit out all weekend. Are the Eagles good? Like, are they good? Because we saw them struggle last year, right? And they still rallied and fought in spite of their coach. I think Nick Sirianni is goofy as hell. I do. He was saved that prior year before last, by his coordinators, and he got exposed immediately. he's more focused on talking over execution. I do not think he actually coaches that team. I think that team at this point is ran by the coordinators and the players on the field. With that being said, they are damn good against certain teams. And now that Saquon Barkley has made it over there, he just wants to prove that he was underutilized with the Giants, which is completely true. And he just showing out. I ain't never seen nobody do a damn backwards hurdle.
Backwards hurdle.
I ain't never seen no shit like that before.
And it was perfect.
That's the type of shit you do when you got some freedom. When you got some pent up frustration, and as soon as your ass get free, you just start doing NFL street shit. He's making a backwards hurdle. And when I saw it, like you can tell it took everybody off guard. The entire sideline on the Eagles side erupted. And everybody on the field was absolutely confused. And the only reason he got tackled is because somebody was already running in his direction in the first place. But it's seriously, are the Eagles good? I'm trying to figure this out. How would they stack up against the best teams in the NFC? I think the Lions would do away with them pretty handily, honestly. I think they can beat the Niners. I think they can beat Green Bay. I think they can beat Minnesota simply because I don't believe Sam Darnold. He's good, but he ain't got that dog in him. Like he ain't that guy. So in the NFC, like now the Commanders, that's a toss-up. Are they any good? I'm genuinely confused by this. And Chris, could you please help me to figure it out?
Well, you already touched on one thing that we know to be true. Saquon is him. Capital H-I-M. Uber talented guy. Like you said, it's a shame he was underutilized in New York the way he was, but we don't care about the Giants anyway. I think the Eagles are still a good team. And I think it's because they still have a little bit of championship pedigree, like we talked about with the Chiefs, on their roster, right? You still have Brandon Graham. You still got Lane Johnson. Some of the guys who were there when they beat the Pats. Sorry, Greg. In the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So you still have a couple of components there. They're still kind of lingering around and, still playing at a decently high level. The only thing that it goes missing is, do those young guys come up and bridge that gap in talent with the older guys? You got young, talented guys. I mean, Jalen Hurts, talented. Even in the Super Bowl loss, he still fought back. Beside that noodle arm ending that happened. I don't know what the hell that was. You got A.J. Brown, dog. You got Devontae Smith, dog. Like, you got the guys, and Darius Slade was one of my favorite corners. He's a Georgia guy, went to Mississippi State. He's been one of my favorite guys since he came into the league. But, he's getting older, so you draft two corners in the first and second round to replace him. So you have the talent. It's just, can these veterans galvanize these younger guys and kind of bring them aboard that train that, hey, this is how you get it done. This year won't happen. I think they're still young on defense. Offensively they have the talent, but they're kind of iffy depending on who they're playing. Like you said, they play down the competition. They can get up on sometimes, but it's iffy. I think they're probably another 2-3 years away from being serious contenders again. But then at that point, what happens to the older guys? Like I said, Brandon Graham, he's mid-30s now. Lane Johnson, he's in his 30s. Like, these guys aren't going to be doing this forever. So how much more time are you willing to give before you got to get over that hump? And you got to get rid of Sirianni. That shit has to happen.
You got to get rid of Sirianni, and that was a perfect place to take you where I'm about to take you. You're not going to win it this year. You fire him. If you want to boost that timeline up that you just went over a couple of years, you make the phone call to Bill Belichick.
Ooh.
We just need you to come in and manage the program. manage the defense, make sure they good. We're gonna keep our offensive coordinator. We just need you to get us to the finish line. It is a perfect setup. That is a perfect setup. People are pointing at Bill with the Cowboys. It'll never work out. It's like Bill Parcells.
Hell no.
It's like Bill Parcells and Jerry Jones all over again. It'll never work out. You put Bill Belichick, a motivated Bill Belichick who is closing in on Don Shula. You put him over there with Philadelphia and the weapons that they got. You do not, under any circumstance, let him run the front office. For the love of God, do not let him do that. But you give him the rest of that team. Yeah, I can see you getting two. I can see you getting a hot 2 rings real quick. Real quick. Greg, what are the Eagles actually good in spite of Nick Sirianni?
I'm gonna make it quick. Like you said, they're basically just good against certain teams. And one thing I'm gonna point out about Saquon is he and Derrick Henry are giving more hope back to the running back position. I know that was a lot of talk that the running back position has kind of like fell through, but you got 2 running backs right now making you reconsider everything you thought about that. But when it comes down to the Eagles, I think it's just certain teams they play. Coaching wise, definitely it's time for a rebuff. But all right, I'm gonna put something on you. Like you said, if they brought Bill Belichick in. I get where you're going with that. He does have that type of, he has the weapons, but will he have the cohesion playing? I understand he one of the greatest coaches in the NFL, but will he have that same cohesion with the Eagles that he had with TB12? So, with TB12, that was like, that was the glue. Anybody that played with TB12 played for Bill Belichick. But when you had that same type of cohesion when he comes to the Eagles, so he has to figure out if they we quote unquote, if they ever thought about that route, will he be able to bring that cohesion and bring them to a high caliber team to win Super Bowl? Even if they get those 2, is Bill Belichick that person to do it? It's hard to say. It's really hard to say because we saw how he rallied without TB12, and even though he has those weapons to play with, even though he has those weapons with the Eagles, if they do go that route, can he bring that mindset to make them that championship team? And I just don't see him doing that with the Eagles. But yeah, the Eagles are just good based on some of the teams that they're playing. Rebuild, and even if the older generation, like you said, the older players they have, they gonna fall off, retire, things like that. Even at that point, you have to look at the players that will stay even after the fact. And I think if you bring Bill in through something like that, I think he's going to lose even more because he's not going to have some of those weapons to play with. But
so it sounds like it comes to a matter for you with the Bill part. What is Jalen Hurts going to do?
Right, exactly.
Is he and Jalen Hurts, are they going to get along? And are they able? Because there's some personalities on their team. AJ Brown is hell. AJ Brown he's a strong-minded wide receiver. Saquon Barkley has a strong personality. So yeah, it would be interesting to see if that cohesion, as you said, would be there with all of those egos in the same room, of course, with those veterans also. I believe it could work. I really do. And I believe Bill Belichick has been humbled also. But yeah, that would be interesting to see. I just couldn't get that out of my head. Like, are the Eagles fucking good or not? I couldn't understand what I was looking at. I wasn't sure. But we'll find out. We'll absolutely find out. So, guys, that brings us to the end. It was another good show, another good time. I appreciate you all coming in and hanging with me tonight. Did either of you have anything to plug? Greg, I know you got your Twitch channel. Tell the people about that.
Yeah, man. So, I do gaming on the side. Same name, Jim Geek Gamer, if y'all want to check me out. Half the time it's just me getting, blown up by people on Call of Duty. But it's good times. It's good times, man. I have fun. But yeah, man, hit me up on Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, Jim Geek Gamer, man. Just, show your boy some love.
Appreciate it. Hoodie, you got anything?
Nah, I can't say I do, man. I mean, you know, I still play a little contact flag football every now and then, you know, get out there and rough some of these kids up, you know. But nah, man, I mean, just being a dad, bro. That's all I got, man.
Hey man, shout out to Parenthood, man. If you subscribe to Parenthood, go for it. You know how
the best hood to be a part of, man.
Yeah, all right. You know how to subscribe. You gotta leave it in. Don't pull out. All right. So lastly, continue to check out U-GeekTV right here on YouTube. On Facebook, you can follow the Unapologetic Geek on Twitter or X, which is, oh my God, with everything that's going on in the nation, that is a clusterfuck right now. I don't even, whatever. I think it's it. I can't even remember what my damn Twitter is. I guess I'll put it on next time. But anyways, look, that's it for us. We are out. On to next week. For Hoodie CM, aka Chris, and Triple G, the Gym Geek Gamer. I got it right this time. My boy Greg. And Jarius, the Unapologetic Geek. This is the Unapologetic Football Show on U-GeekTV, and we are out.